All right. Welcome to another episode of Scott 10 Stocks. Sorry for the delay. Another episode of Scott 10 Stocks. The delays right now, it's great. Keep driving me crazy. There's so many technical difficulties we are facing. I understand why CNBC and all the earnings calls have bad audio. But we are here with Dimitris. We're going to be talking about NVIDIA earnings. Everybody's excited, waiting for this to happen. And exciting times. Exciting times. I also want to talk to you a little bit of. I've been trying to get you on a call for a while now.
Mhm.
I've been trying to get you on a call for a while now. I bought some UNH too, by the way.
You told me when you were about to buy some.
Correct.
What's your thoughts on it? What's your
Um.
thoughts on it?
All right. So there we go. I think I don't know. It's very interesting. It got really punished at 250. It seemed like a gift, right? And I just didn't
Mm-hmm.
make the purchase at those prices. So it just seemed that we are at a decent price to get back in. But I bought around 300, so I'm still sort of like same, you know. But I'm taking your lead on that one. I'm trusting your guidance.
I mean, you can't exactly time and buy the bottom all the time. I mean, you can try your best, but listen, the stock was at 620 not too long ago, maybe 6, 7 weeks.
Yeah.
It went from price to earnings 35 to now 12, 13. And until we get a guidance, until the new management get things into place and gives a guidance for the rest of the year and for 26, the stock is just going to go sideways. So maybe it's going to go a little bit up, like today I think it was up like 1% or something,
Yeah.
only because the rest of the market was down. So it's a good time to build a position, but it's going to take a while
Yeah.
before this
No,
is like.
they have to get through all of the dark clouds for sure here.
But you know what? The fundamentals did not change that much. Okay, so you can't classify it as a turnaround story because turnarounds suggest that the fundamentals like got out of whack and a new CEO is trying to put together piece by piece. It's not the case. Uh, the company just reported like near all-time high EPS and revenue. So it's not like the company has been losing money for 4 quarters and they changed the CEO. It's not the case. Um, but still, it got punished like unjustifiably, in my opinion. It was
No,
too much.
I think so too. I think so too, and I don't know. It was very interesting because at the peak uncertainty, everybody was like, let's start looking at defensives, let's start looking at gold, and I was
Yes.
like, bro, talk to me about gold next time we go to all-time highs. And funny enough, this stock we are very close to all-time highs, and this stock is actually proving to be a great entry point. So I was
Hmm.
like, seems like this is a safety play. If shit hits the fans, I'm ready to get in. And I found it super interesting, and I actually managed to pull the trigger on it.
So
Like
Salesforce first quarter
slowly.
adjusted EPS of
Did you buy a lot?
$2.58.
Like, what
Voice news
was the
disconnected.
portfolio? Did you buy like at least 2 or 3%?
I bought a bit. I'm not really like I bought a bit. Here, give me a second. Let me just get the news out here because I do not want to miss the earnings, the NVIDIA earnings. But
Salesforce
there we go.
first quarter adjusted operating
Yeah,
margin of 32.3%.
Salesforce.
That's a miss on the estimate of 32.6%.
All right.
First quarter subscription and support revenue of $9.3 billion.
So Salesforce just reported apparently.
Yeah.
We still have big earnings in the AI space and data cloud and all that stuff.
Yes.
So, all right. Yeah,
Voice news disconnected.
like I don't want to miss NVIDIA earnings. So NVIDIA earnings estimated to come out at 4:20 U.S. time, like New York time. So we're still
420, like
17
in
minutes 17 minutes
17
away.
minutes? Okay.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, like I bought a bit. Let me tell you, which I bought 1-2%, I think.
Okay, 1, 2% is fine. If you bought like a quarter of a percent, I was going to tell you like, what are you doing?
Correct.
Because this stock has it's very
Actually,
likely.
no, I bought more.
You bought more?
I forgot. I bought this in the holidays.
Okay.
I bought 6%.
There you go. Now you're
Yeah,
talking. I have 6%.
I did 6%. I did a 6% position on this. I don't know. It seemed like a good entry. You know.
Yes, it was a good entry.
Yeah.
And in the next, I think it reports in July. So for the next 5-6 weeks, I'm probably gonna add to my position
Yeah.
and average my entry down because I have much higher entry than you guys. But yeah, I'm gonna average my entry down. Yeah, but that stock is going to double in the next 12 months.
Nice. So you think we go back to all-time highs?
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
but it's going to take a while. It's going to take because the new CEO, he's a superstar. He's the guy that made the company a traditional compounder, from
Yeah.
2006 to 2017. He was with the company during the financial crisis. So he's known to be a good captain. So I think they're gonna have to give us a guidance, at least to tell us what they're gonna make for the rest of the year. And once they give a strong guidance for the following year, then the stock takes off and it's a game over because it's not like it's healthcare.
Yeah.
It's nothing complicated.
No, that's what I like. I was looking to enter healthcare, and then this just up for a position. So I was just like,
Hmm.
look, Dimitris has talked of like wonders about this stock. It's one of your biggest positions, I believe.
Yeah.
So I was like, I trust, like like in the sectors that I'm not fully confident in, I do trust the experts in it. You know what I mean? So I just put my hands, and I'm just like, okay, this seems like a good entry. Let's write it out for a little bit and see how it performs. I did get out of because I moved a lot of like leverage ETFs and other different things as well. So like I had a leverage ETF. I made a little bit of money with Bitcoin as well. I still hold Bitcoin and even TQQQ at this point, but I sold some NVIDIA into this earnings, by the way.
Just just mm, just moving some risk out of the equation. Is that what you were doing?
You know what it is? You know what it is?
What?
I'm going to the diamond event and I'm at risk 7 and I'm trying to get my risk level down to 6.
How did you get into a risk 7?
I have no idea. It's like the thing is, like Nvidia apparently is 20% of my risk size, and it's like it's
Oh,
20%.
okay.
Nvidia is a
Okay.
massive position, and then TQQQ, Mara, and Nvidia, which are the 3 positions that I really like right now. They're both
Yeah,
extremely high risk.
the TQQ because of the leverage
Correct.
it spikes your.
But then
Do you know?
I've slowly come down. Like I've tried to get it down, but I'm just not able to get it down because I still want to hold position on those. I do see still a balance from where we are. So
So since we're talking about opportunities outside of tech, I know you've been talking in the last, I mean, on the chat about oil. You know what? I start to like oil at these levels.
yeah, there are a couple of things that like have me drawn to oil right now, and it's just like whether we are gonna have a recession or not. Like the only thing that keeps me sort of like scared is the oil price in terms of the recession. Because if
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna have a recession, oil prices will drop, right? But we see OPEC plus increasing production, which
Mm-hmm.
is like, why are you increasing production into potential recession, and what is happening here? And you
But the
know,
recession is out of the question because in the last couple of days, new data come out. Like yesterday was like the best consumer confident in 3 years, or or whatever the number was. So the soft data say one thing, the hard data say something different, and the oil price is sitting what in the 60s.
yeah,
It's not going to be sitting in the 60s because it has to be between 70 and 90
yeah.
for companies to make money. And if we're not going to a recession, I would love to get my hands on some ExxonMobil.
Like
But
there's gonna be like there are opportunities starting to be like for sure. Like I love
yes,
Shell. I love Shell stock. Shell has treated me really nicely, and they do have the gas They're mostly a gas company now, so
Mhm.
that's the reason they've like sort of like weathered this a little bit better. But okay, so let's talk about NVIDIA. You know,
Yes.
what have you heard? Any rumor? What's on the rumor mill on your side?
Board says
Listen,
addition
I'm
package
getting a
put into
very
Monday.
positive
Voice
vibe.
news disconnected.
I'm getting a vibe that the 5.5 billion hit that they got from China,
Director
that they're
Vought,
gonna
speaking
swallow
on Fox
that,
Business.
and it's gonna feel like nothing. Okay.
Well, you imagine if they meet expectations after that hit.
So the EPS and the revenue don't really matter if they come out and say, you know what, Saudi Arabia just put an order like of Blackwell that it's going to take us 3 years to work full capacity to deliver them. Okay, because what Trump did, to his credit, he punished NVIDIA with China. He said, you're not going to sell to China, but he took them by the hand and took them with him to the Middle East, country by country. And it was like 400 billion, 700 billion, a trillion there, a trillion there. And it's not trillion they're going to come and big plans in the United States. They just want to buy the AI infrastructure. And what Trump is doing, this is like a different subject, but it's very relevant. What Trump is doing is trying to get these countries that they want to get into AI to do it with the American model. Okay, it's like when you buy an Apple computer and then you buy an Apple phone and earpods and all that, and then you want to switch to Samsung. No, you're not
No.
switching because your infrastructure is like Apple. So
OMB Director
Trump was
Vought
to
says
do
we're doing
that with
everything
the
we
American
can to
AI
cut.
model, and NVIDIA is in the front of that. And those trips they took in Middle East is going to position AMD, NVIDIA, and others in a position to capitalize on the sales for their chips for the next decade.
Yeah, that I agree with for sure. Yeah.
I was hearing a few hours earlier the price target for NVIDIA, $300.
Yeah, I've heard that number too.
You heard
I've
you
heard
heard
that
the
number
number?
10
too.
minutes away now from Q1
Okay.
2025
Yeah.
earnings
Don't
for
get me
NVIDIA.
wrong, but it's a
EPS
bit
estimate
optimistic
of
for my
93
taste.
cents. Revenue
Okay.
estimate of
The
43
200, I'm okay with it.
billion dollars.
But 300 is like 120% from here.
Yeah.
That will make NVIDIA like $6 trillion company.
Yeah, they're talking about 5 trillions easy. You know, it's just like that, like because we don't see capital expenditures coming down. We saw the big players. Everybody thought, oh, maybe we're gonna see capex come down. Everything went up. Everybody was like, we are too conservative. it's not.
And they're doubling down.
Yeah.
They're doubling down. So everything suggests that NVIDIA should provide a very optimistic outlook.
Yeah. No, I think we have seen sort of the downturn. I think analysts are already expecting a hit on earnings per share. Revenue, I think revenue is going to be the same, but I think earnings per share it's going to take a hit. This is where we can actually like here. Let me share a little bit of screens and hopefully I don't mess this up. But yeah. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's share that. So, this is the NVIDIA Corporation right now. Like,
Yes.
what price did I say NVIDIA's a buy in my eToro feed at 95, 96? We're sitting up like just straight back up. You know what I mean? Like the momentum and the sentiment of the whole stock market just shifted so drastically. So it's been a very impressive rally for sure. But yeah.
But the stock is flat year to date.
Correct. Yeah.
So let's say at 20% until the end of the year is not unreasonable at all.
Yeah. No, I don't. I definitely see Nvidia coming like beating those highs if this earnings season continues to go the way that I'm planning it to be. Because I think Jensen prepared Nvidia very well, right? Like I think they took a hit on margins right after Blackwell came out because they were increasing their production because they just saw this being insanely wanted by every single player. And now we're seeing major players come in, like the CoreWeave and all these different companies, data cloud centers that are just like ready to deploy the Blackwell systems, the Blackwell Ultra that's coming up next year. So it's gonna be a great, like it's gonna be a great time for NVIDIA investors. I also want to get a little bit of your take. You know, I think we're still like 7 minutes away, so I'm paying close attention to the revenue. Sorry, to the results here. We're gonna be hearing them quite soon. But yeah, earnings per share has come down. So it's like, yeah, like earnings per share were expected to be in 93 cents before. And I
Yes.
think now the expectation is sitting at 73
Mhm.
for me. And then revenue is expected to come in at $43.3 billion.
So the EPS is going to be lower than last quarter, but the revenue is going to be more.
Yeah, I think revenue continues to go up.
So
But I think
that suggests drop in margins. Am I right?
I think so. And I think it's because they had to take the hit on their inventory when the H20
Yes.
from China. The question is well, I think there was a post on Financial News here. There at 8:13 today, Trump orders U.S. chip designers to stop selling to China. Financial Times. So there's still sort of this
5 minutes away till we
uncertainty.
get Q1 2025 earnings for NVIDIA. EPS estimate of
Yeah, but the
93 cents.
Chinese, even if they
Revenue
want the
estimate of
chips, they're going to buy them through
$43.29
Singapore.
billion.
So NVIDIA basically is not going to sell directly to the Chinese. So I don't think that 5.5 billion, they're going to lose them. They're probably going to be delayed. So
I
they're
think
going to,
I
they're going
think
to get them
delayed.
on the next report.
Maybe delayed, but maybe shifted too. You know, because now we have the UAE coming in. We have other
Yeah.
players that are willing to buy more. We still have the Singaporeans that are probably buying to ship to China anyways, right? Jensen said he was like the restrictions have not worked. You know what I mean? Like they've done nothing. So
Okay. So let me ask you this, because we are popular investors and we want to give a take to the people that they're watching. Okay, so the hyperscalers, they're doubling down. They're going to buy more. Tesla the other day, Elon Musk said that they want to buy like
Just seeing
how
here,
many
HPC's
millions
fiscal year adjusted
of
EPS
chips
of
from
Voice news
NVIDIA
disconnected.
and AMD. Middle East just got into the
3.5
game.
cents.
And we know the
Estimate
Chinese, they're going to buy what they need with any way they can't, maybe directly, indirectly, and all that. So if the stock takes a hit tonight, I think it's a buy.
yeah,
Up like if it drops 5%, I'm buying probably tomorrow.
yeah, I think for sure. I'll probably buy tonight. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'll probably buy tonight. Yeah, for sure.
Because the positioning for the next quarter, assuming nothing crazy happens, is going to be spectacular.
Correct. And
That's my hot take.
yeah, and I think revenue expectations and like growth expectations overall have been reset in many investors' mind. You know, and the
Yes.
weekends left the stock. So right now it's just like I don't know. The stock has come up drastically, but I think like the people that are buying is old people. Like it's people like me that have been like I've held stock and I just continue to buy more and more. You know?
And you know what else? Besides the demographics of the investors? I think that a month ago the tech trade was dead, and everybody was looking into value and all that, and then tech came back roaring.
Yeah.
Okay, Amazon, Meta, everyone basically except Apple, because Apple has problems with Trump and the iPhone and all that. So things change quickly in markets.
For sure.
And at least I was buying in the last couple of months of a lot of Mac 7. And I bought NVIDIA around 105, I believe. So yeah, things change quickly, and you have to be able to see the opportunity when appears. And the opportunity was 95 was a gift.
Oh yeah, it was. It was. You know, it's like stock, like nothing had changed. The story continued. We are actually getting better. Did you happen to see the Google update? Everybody discarded Google because search is dead and Google will never come back. And all of a sudden they dropped the hammer that they did.
And Google came back roaring.
Yeah.
1
And
minute ago now to be getting
do you
NVIDIA
know what changed
earnings.
with Google? I think it was an article from Barron's that they said that the intrinsic value of Google is $275. And when Barron's said that, Barron's is a very respected publication. It's not like CNN. So
Yeah. Yo, we're a
what?
minute away. We're a minute away from NVIDIA earnings. We're a minute away from NVIDIA earnings. Let's have a look at what they have to say. It's going to be very interesting. Have a look. NVIDIA.
Shout out to Aga, by the way.
Yeah.
She's
She shouted
texting-
out in the.
She's texting me right now. She was wondering why am I on the live stream. I told her, you know what? I'm everywhere.
10 seconds.
Shout out to Mimi as well. She's probably sleeping.
Yeah. Okay, 10 seconds. We should be getting this.
All right.
As they-
Adjusted EPS of 81 cents.
Alright.
81 cents, so it's a
miss on the
beat.
estimate of 93 cents. First quarter revenue $44.1 billion. Beat on the estimate of
44.
$43.29 billion. Adjusted gross
44
margin
billion?
61%. Missed on the estimate of 71%. Data center revenue $39.1 billion. That's a miss on the estimate of $39.22 billion. Revenue is expected to be $45 billion plus or
How the
minus
stock is doing.
2%. CEO says Blackwell NVL72 AI supercomputer is in production. Second quarter outlook reflects a loss in H2 zero revenue of about $8 billion. Again, first quarter data center revenue $39.1 billion.
So
Miss on the estimate of
What's the numbers?
$39.22 billion. Did see a
So-
little downside movement on the
Here, I'm
Nasdaq
just getting
100
all the
off the back of
information in the
earnings
news. I'm
from
getting all the
NVIDIA.
information in my ears.
Okay.
So,
Also, Blackwell NVL
give me a second.
72 AI supercomputer
Take your
in
time.
full-scale production. Global
All right, so a beat on like they said it's a miss on the 93 cents that the market was expecting, but the reality is we were expecting around 73. We did 81, and then we were expecting 43 billion dollars. We got 44
Yes.
plus. So and
Very-
margins dropped drastically.
give me the numbers.
So it was expected to be 71%, and that dropped down to 51%, but that's because of the massive hit that they had to take. Stock's flat on the news. Actually, it's up. Stock's up on the news right now, sitting at 138.2
So how up? 2%?
to around 3% up from
Okay. Okay,
from
but
close.
they haven't given the guidance yet. So
They gave the guidance. The guidance, I missed it. I'm getting here, but I'm gonna get it in a second. So yeah, 44.1 instead of the 43.2, which is fantastic. And then the earnings per share is 81 out of market was I was expecting 74, 75.
So with the 5.5 from China up and down,
It did nothing.
it did nothing. And if the China issue wasn't an issue, it would be 50 billion.
Probably. Like it'll probably be sitting somewhere in the adjusted earnings per share would have been a lot higher. Probably like $1.
So with what we said, that's temporary, the Chinese restrictions, because the Chinese are going to go around it, or Trump is going to make a deal and they're going to sell, or whatever the case. The Chinese are getting the chips they need. Until they can make their own, they're going to buy from NVIDIA. That's the reality. Okay?
Yeah.
And so they're going to get them from Singapore or from whatever country they can get them. So the stock remains a buy, in my opinion.
100%. Stock just went up, in my opinion. Like I was sitting at 148, like fair value, sitting probably 150 right now.
150. Was the new price to earnings forward?
The forward PE, I'll have to run the numbers. But here, let me break this down to you. So okay, so the adjusted gross margin sitting at 61, the expected was 71.
Mm-hmm.
Data center revenue was a miss. Out of $39.2 billion, they did $39.1 billion.
Okay.
Compute revenue 34.1, estimate was 35.4. Network revenue was a beat, and then second quarter outlook reflects a loss in H20 revenue of 8 billion. Was unable to ship and added 2.5 billion of H20 in Q1. Sees revenue for Q2 sitting at 45 billion, plus minus 2%.
2%. So another billion, let's say.
Correct. Data center revenue, yeah, and then global demand for AI infrastructure incredibly strong, and then Blackwell is at full scale production. The NVDL 72.
So considering the China story, which is I think it's 10% of their sales, 10 or 15% is not like a huge part of their sales. They're giving a decent forward guidance.
Correct. And I think like this is like temporary, and this changes if Trump makes a deal with China where AI chips become center stage.
And they are probably being conservative.
Yeah, Jensen is not Elon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because it's like, I mean, try to compare it. It's like, imagine NVIDIA is Tesla, and the CEO just went to 5 countries and they all committed to buy like 10 million cars each.
Yeah.
And in the next quarter they're gonna show. That's what it is basically.
Yeah.
But because Jensen knows that Trump is going to use NVIDIA chip as a negotiating chip, funny enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they did it with the UAE already. You know what I mean? Like it was
Yes.
definitely a chip, you know?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, but the UAE wanted the Americans instead of the Chinese. That's what I was hearing. They wanted the American version, not the Chinese version, for whatever reason. And they placed orders, and these people are going to buy. These people are not just saying and not going to do it. So the next couple of quarters, the information is I would like to know, and I don't know if you know this, but from the time a company or a country places an order for X number of chips, how long it takes for NVIDIA to deliver them?
I would say right now the backlog is sitting what, 6 months to a year?
6 months?
Like backlog right now is just every single big company is waiting for the latest chips. I think, and the thing is like right now we could still say that people are waiting for the new line of chips, the Blackwell Ultra, right? So you have people buying and trying to like fill up their data centers, but people are waiting for the best, you know. And it's like there is one coming up next quarter. Like I think in the second half of the year.
So is the H20, then the Blackwell Ultra? Is that how it goes?
Well, the H20 was a chip that was made during the Biden era to meet the qualification. So the H20 is just Hopper.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Right? And then it was like so the way that they did it was like they had this weird ass graph, and it was like compute power, you know what I mean, kind of thing. It's like compute and power, and it's like it was here, and then what they said, it was like you're not allowed to pass this point and this point, and then they created a chip that was just under those restrictions.
Okay.
But it's still good. Like it still does the job. It just doesn't do the job as efficiently or as productive as
Yes. It's
Hopper
not the high,
could.
it's not the top of the line.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the big issue here was China still wanted anything they could get. And I do think like I've always been in the camp that those restrictions mean nothing to the Chinese. You know, so it's like, yeah, there's definitely Blackwell chips in China.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's go a level deeper on this. So NVIDIA has a backlog of chips.
Yeah.
Who benefits? Who benefits? And who sells the second best chips a bit cheaper? Is it AMD?
You think
Because
the thing is so okay? So this is one of the things I wanted to ask you, because I know you put a position on AMD
yes,
recently, right? So I wanted to get your thoughts on it. So the problem that I have is that, you know, it's like usually the number one is so much better than number two.
yes,
You know, it's like if we think of Usain Bolt, you know what I mean? Who could compete against Usain Bolt when he was at his peak? Like no one. You know what I mean? So it was like number one is so far away from number two. You know, it's like that's the thing I see with AMD. I don't take the thing I own AMD, like I like AMD. I like Lisa Su. But the problem that I have is the infrastructure. Like one of the things you mentioned, it was like, yeah, make sure that the UAE is buying the American
hmm
chips, the American infrastructure. NVIDIA has that power right now above everybody else. So
yes,
AM
but they don't have enough to go around.
agreed.
And
Agreed.
who? Yeah, it's not a question of who has the best. NVIDIA is the best by far. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And my portfolio and your portfolio
Shows.
reflect that,
Yes.
right? But you have to consider the scenario that NVIDIA cannot satisfy all its customers in time, and the second best guy is a bit cheaper, and it's like you're driving to McDonald's and it's like a line through the drive-through, like around the block, and you say, you know what, fuck it, let me go to Burger King.
Yeah.
That's
Sure.
what it is.
Sure. You know, but the thing is like all of the money and all of the margins and all of the profits are still going to the McDonald's guy. So who's going to
Yes.
open more locations? The McDonald's guy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like that's where it becomes like the AMD play. Like I like AMD, but it's not a matter of if they will catch up. I think they will catch up. The question is how fast. You know, and it's like, will it be fast enough that there's no other competitors? Like every single company right now is trying to figure out a chip that can do the work specific to their needs. Amazon is trying to Amazon is trying to do it. Google already has it. Meta, I'm sure that they're developing. Microsoft, Apple, every single one of them is trying to decipher this. You know, and it's like it's a matter of who will be competitive sooner rather than later, and can you capitalize on being ahead. I think nvidia got lucky, and you know, when I say lucky, I say opportunity meets preparation, and I think they were prepared. They saw this a mile ahead and they were ready for it. But when
And
the
they
Hopper chip
and,
came out, nobody wanted it.
and they invested a lot of money, and you don't know. I saw one video of Jensen describing what the chip is and the work that it takes to put it together, and the amount of. I think it cost them 5 billion to develop it, the Blackwell. So that's a huge risk to spend so much money developing something, not knowing that it's going to be a hit. But it was a hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now everyone's won it, but not everyone can have it.
Correct.
At least on time. So the question that I have, and that was the reason why I opened a little bit of AMD, is not the equal amount I have with NVIDIA. Let's not get crazy here. So, okay, so let me put it differently. Which one is your number two?
Microchips ETF.
See,
Microchips ETF. You know, right now I'm holding like in some external wallets. Let's just say I'm holding SO XL, the 3x microchip leverage ETF. So far, it's good. The thing is like, look, like, do I think NVIDIA will make it? Like, I think so. I just don't know how long. It took them a while to be able to compete against Intel, and by the time they were able to compete, we had moved away from that sort of computing restrictions, right? So it's like the question is like you have Broadcom, you have Qualcomm, you have freaking so many people trying to figure this out. So I think you play the whole market, you play the whole roulette table. You know what I mean? At that point.
Okay, it's not my style to play on the eToro portfolio.
Yeah.
It's not my style to play the ETF. I'm not a big fan of ETFs, especially when I know the clear winner.
Yeah. That's the problem. The thing is like I don't think AMD is a bad play. I don't at all. I just like NVIDIA so much better. You know what I mean? It's like
NVIDIA, we both agree on NVIDIA. NVIDIA we know is a clear winner. What I'm asking you is, what's your number two? What's your number two?
In the the microchip space or like AI chips, or in this whole space? Because I hold some SMCI too.
SMCI has some issues with the accounting.
I know, but they fixed them. They're fixing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're fixing them. It's leather jacket time.
There you go.
But yeah, I don't know. I like right now. My portfolio says it's SMCI even more than NVIDIA right now. Like, sorry, more than AMD.
Do you know what got my attention? So I was watching the CNBC interview of Elon Musk, and he was saying that they're buying a lot of chips from NVIDIA, and then he said it in a way that stuck with me. Said, or AMD, because they are much cheaper. So how much cheaper the second best is will make a difference if I'm buying the very best for a ridiculously high price, or I'm buying the second best for a much better price. That's why I'm looking for the number two. And I'm not sure AMD is the number two. It is my number two. Yeah. But you know more than me when it comes to semiconductors. That's why I'm asking you.
I think
give me your number two.
I think that it is the number two. I think it is the number two. But it's like I was trying to buy a phone today. Like, well, I was buying a phone for a friend, right? Yeah. And you have like the iPhone.
Yeah.
Right? And the iPhone is worth $1,000 a pop. Okay? Mm-hmm. The latest iPhone. And if you want another phone, the number two in phones, right, it's probably Samsung, right? But for me, it's like, let's look at the cheap competitors in the number two. Let's just make this assumption. There are so many brands that go to name, and they have to be competitive, and they're competing on price because they are the number two.
Yes.
That is like, AMD is one of them, and it's at the top, and it has brand recognition, and it has all of this different strength, but it's competing with every single other maker at the bottom.
That's a good point. Okay.
You know, so then it becomes sort of like the only reason NVIDIA is not a commodity right now. The commodity of intelligence is because they are so far ahead of what everybody else can provide, both in terms of electricity consumption and in computing power, raw computing. You know, so that's the problem I have with it. You know, it's like AMD. I like AMD. AMD graphics cards are fantastic. Their processors are fantastic. AMD tends to execute at a very high level. But in the AI chip sector, it's so difficult right now. And the problem is like,
how about the company that makes chips? How about the
TSM?
Yeah.
TSM is tricky, man. You know, you hold the same risk, but yeah, TSM I like a lot. And now they're producing in America. TSM. I know you don't like the Europeans, but ASML also to keep, you know.
Was that? Oh, wait. When was it that you wanted to buy ASML and I told you not to?
It's been like a couple of months back, like a
couple of months ago. Yeah. I'm telling you, I don't like the Europeans for that reason.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this has woken up the Europeans, and they start, you know, we start seeing some multiple expansion in Europe.
I mean, what the Europeans are going to do, what they're going to put technology on, what they're going to put technology on the Colosseum. Like, you're going to go to Rome and you're going to see, like, with AI.
It's okay. It's okay. You're going to see AI in the Colosseum in the next earnings call. You know what I mean? Yeah. Get ready for AI. You know.
Yeah, I mean, Europe has become a joke. Their refusal to enter the tech game is beyond me. I don't even get it. But and you know what? If you know what, ASML should just move and go open their offices in Silicon Valley. Uh, their value go 3x in a night.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the truth. The truth. But the Dutch are proud. The Dutch are proud. They're proud people. Look at this. Look at this. This is I was reading this. The revenue is
Yeah,
expected to be 45 billion plus minus 2%. But
yeah.
this reflects an H20 revenue loss of revenue of $8 billion.
So what's that? That's
Here.
Q1 of 25,
No, here, let me. Oh,
26.
wait, you're seeing the wrong thing.
Okay.
But I was showing that. Check this out. Revenue is expected to be 45 billion plus minus.
Mhm.
This reflects an $8 billion loss.
The 8 billion is from the
The
Chinese.
H20s, yeah, the H20,
Okay.
the Chinese. So that means that expected was they were expecting around 53 billion next quarter if this wasn't a case.
Hmm. I'm not
Insane, huh?
convinced that 8 billion are just they're not gonna buy them. They're gonna buy them like in a different way.
Yeah.
This is just a delay, basically.
So far, well, the thing is
Delivery
we'll
guy just
see.
lost the address.
Hmm?
The delivery guy just lost the address. You're gonna get your pizza, but you're gonna get it like a bit cold. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
That is. That's what I think so too. I think so too. But announced partnerships of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They unveiled the Stargate. So they're throwing big names here. And it's like all of the
Yeah,
things that have been happening. And I think we've lost a lot of the uncertainty too, you know. I think
yeah,
we came into this quarter being like, what is going to happen with the world? And the tariffs were too high and the world was going to collapse. And all of a sudden, this didn't happen anymore. NVIDIA stock continues to go up, sitting at 140 fair value right now, at least before the earnings. But we just got the earnings results, which tell us
what
something
is it
different.
now? 3.4 up,
Yeah,
4% up. All right,
not bad.
not
What was
bad.
the expected move on NVIDIA?
AMD's up, Tesla's up. Okay, Tesla is going crazy. It's been a couple of days now.
It's been crazy. It's just because Elon Musk is coming back?
Yeah.
Insane, dude. Like that's
So as long
there
as
is a level of cult.
you know what,
There is a
because
level.
you know what, we know he's a genius and we know that he can do like 20 things at once, but he can't do them while he's in Washington. You know,
Yeah.
if he's like at the factory and he can take a plane and go to Twitter and then go back and forth, yeah, he can do whatever he wants. But so yeah,
Tells you the level of bureaucracy that is in the American government that drives
yeah,
that drives the most
yeah,
innovative man in the world crazy, you know?
yeah, and they're gonna have to get their act together. They're gonna have to come up with new models, with cheaper models about EVs, and create a breakthrough. I mean, I can't wait for that moment that when the Optimus comes out.
Well, I've seen some of the latest videos that he have posted as well.
I've seen too.
It's
I just
looking
want.
smooth.
I'm just waiting for that moment that you can walk into a store
And
or you
see
can
it.
order it online and buy one like for $10,000, $20,000, and then becomes like a status symbol. Like the rich people, they're gonna go buy like a couple of them just to have them, and then from there it's. I mean, listen, I was hearing to targets today, $500 for Tesla, $300 for NVIDIA, 400 for Salesforce. How Salesforce is doing? What was the report? Was it good?
I think it was good. I think it was good. Here, I've got the data. Second. Actually, kept speaking on my Salesforce revenue was 9.83. Estimate was 9.75, 7.6% year on year. EPS was 2.58. Estimate was 2.55.
So what's the stock? Is it up? Is it down?
CRM, right?
Since CRM joined Dow Jones, it's been going like downhill.
It's pretty much flat. It's up 1%.
Mm,
You know, not a major move.
that was a company that kicked out ExxonMobil from the Dow Jones after like 100 years. That was a mistake.
Yeah, it's been taking a plummet from the peaks of 370.
Yeah. Was it not two? Was it not 205?
Sitting at 280.
280. Okay. Still.
Touch
Well,
230. Did you see FICO?
what's FICO?
I think FICO is the company that does credit score.
Oh yes, yes.
It bounced today. It was up 7% today. It's like, what is like? I've never seen this stock pop up on my feed at all. And all of a sudden, took a
Well,
massive hit.
are they trying to make it completely private? Is that what the story is?
I've no idea. I've never I've just
I think it's like a similar like Fannie and Mae, like Freddie and Fannie, those mortgages companies that Bill Ackman made a killing, by the way. He made like 4 times his money like in a year. And Trump is talking about getting them like private. So the deregulation in the financial system is coming along.
Yeah. I think he just wants the private sector to take on the debt.
Yeah.
I think he wants to take away. My research is telling me that he wanted to take away the regulations that they put during the 2008 financial crisis in order
Yes.
to refinance the American debt. They bailed the
If,
banks out, and now they want to bail out from the banks.
listen, if they remove those regulations from 2008, the thing is gonna get crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna get crazy, but you're gonna have to take profits more often because it's going to get nuts and like in a hurry.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah. At what time is the earnings call? What are we expecting? NVIDIA broken 140. I think we're gonna go up on this. I think this is fantastic news.
What's the all-time high? 155?
160. 160.
160?
I mean, like pre-market, post-market. Depends on where you look.
No, just the all-time high, like either market. I was with the impression that was 155.
Let's have a look. Is
Okay.
150. Yeah, it's one.
You know what? It is inside. If he doesn't say anything crazy during
He won't.
the earnings call,
He won't. He'll just
I'm just saying, if he doesn't say anything crazy.
I don't think he will. Like, he's so boring. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people get so excited when they see him, and he's just like, "Yo, I'm just doing my job." Like, like, well, leave me alone. It's like he's like like I think he's the total opposite of like Elon, right? Where it's like Elon is like on Twitter telling you like doing management control and like
Yeah.
stock price moving engineering. While Jensen is just like, I'm just gonna go to the Chinese. It's okay. Like I'll just go talk to the Chinese. It's fine. I'll get my plane. We talk to the Chinese. We'll get this sorted. It's like done. And it's like doesn't speak to the news for like 5 weeks. It's like
He has a sense of humor,
yeah.
Jensen, and in one NVIDIA event, he was outside in Denny's. You know, Denny's, the franchise that they make hot dogs, because that was his first job.
Yeah. Well, he worked at Denny's.
Worked at Denny's, yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
Okay, man.
And he And the AMD lady, they're like their cousins. What's the story there?
They're cousins.
They're cousins, yeah.
Yeah. But long distance, they've addressed it, in the past. But yeah,
Still though,
it's
what
cool.
what are what are the chances?
Yeah. You imagine like family reunions. Oh, but
Yeah.
you're a cousin. Oh, it's so good. It is so good. Oh yeah. Okay, have a look at something. Is there?
Hmm. You know what? People don't want to admit this, but NVIDIA and the semiconductor came back to life because Trump took those CEOs by the hand and took them a tour with him in the Middle East, country by country, until
Yeah.
he was getting $1 trillion there and $1 trillion here, and huge commitments about spending. And here we are,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. It's the truth. He's getting the work done, and like that's one thing that he's likely to mention in the call before the earnings is that
Mhm.
he's in Trump's good side.
He is. Yeah.
Right now I think Trump realizes that Jensen is a very important chip to play in this trade talks.
And you know what? When he's asked about Trump, he's very careful how to respond to those questions. He's very respectful to the president because he knows you don't want to get on Trump's bad side because Tim Cook just found out that you know what? You're gonna find out if you fuck around.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was very public. That when he said, you know what, I don't want it in China, I don't want it in India, I want it in the United States. Make iPhones in the US.
The
I don't care
U.S.
how, just make them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh man, why is everybody so lost with Nvidia right now? It's crazy. Do you see people are not watching the stream? Martin, by the way, do I think Bitcoin's gonna go up tomorrow? Probably. Risk assets are probably gonna find benefits in having Nvidia go up. What do we have? Do we have any macro data this week left for tomorrow? I don't think
um,
there's anything major tomorrow. No.
today was the release the Fed minutes.
Yeah, I did it. Oh, the minutes.
The
Yeah,
minutes.
I'm trying to fix my house and it's taking every single mental capacity. It's crazy.
And it
How
wasn't
was
anything
that?
significant. It was just like, the committee members, they were like, you know what? We go, you know, they don't say anything concrete. They say we might do that and not do that. Basically,
We're
was
talking about
they
this,
are
we're
talking
talking about
about inflation might come a bit higher, the probabilities of the inflation going higher. But you know what? I'm not convinced inflation is going to go higher.
I don't the thing is like so the biggest thing that I had against it, like the inflation fears, like I do think we're gonna see a shock to inflation, but I don't think we see it as high. Because right now we're seeing a reshuffling of the economy. We're not seeing a shutdown like we saw in during the COVID pandemic, right? COVID was a shutdown. You were not allowed to trade. What you had was the only thing. We're still producing. Like the Chinese are still sending their stuff other places. Yeah, will
Hmm.
there be an impact? Sure. I just don't think the impact will be as high as the fear mongers and the bears are thinking. I don't see it.
You know what? I don't think there's going to be higher inflation because if you think it like logically, and you are like a regular person that you go by paycheck to paycheck, and you have $500 a month, $1,000 a month for your spending, your supermarket and your groceries and your shoes and your whatever, and your monthly bill of those items, it's $1,000. When they become 1,100 or 1,200, you're not paying 1,200. you're gonna buy less and you're gonna spend 1,000 because 1,000 is all you have.
Yeah.
And that's the reality. It's basically a tax. So when taxes go up, inflation doesn't go up. So
Yeah, but the way that I look at it, right? So it's like let's say the way that I think about it, and this is not with every product, and this is not with everything else, right? But it's like, let's say, for example, that you have a product, let's say you have a product that's $10, right? And then all of a sudden you have the tariffs at 40%. And now that product is 14. Let's say it's a beer, right? You're buying beers for $10. Now you just buy Europeans. The European beers used to be $11. And they used to bring them to America, right? So it's like this Chinese product is now 14. I'm not going to buy that Chinese product. I'm just going to shift to the European beer or the Canadian beer or the Mexican beer for 11 or 12. Or maybe I go American. The American beer used to be like $11 or $12. So now they're more competitive, right? So there's still like room to maneuver. Like American production has not been at 100% in forever. I do think there's still room for American production. And the question is like, which products do we really matter and which products really get an impact and which products don't have a substitute of Chinese goods?
And which products consumers are like have loyalty upon them and they're only going to buy like an Apple phone. If you were having an Apple phone, you're going to buy an Apple phone. If it goes like up 20%, you're just going to buy an Apple phone. But everything else, do you have to buy the same brand of peanut butter?
No.
No.
No. Do you need to buy your products from Temu? No. Do you need your wish list? No. It's like it's like some products, yeah, okay, maybe I don't buy the magnets I order from Temu and I just like leave without them because I didn't need them anyway. So it's like in some products, yes, in some products, no. It's about I think China is what 13-14% of all imports or exports into America or something like that. So it's like still like some part will go up. I'm not saying there won't be disruptions. I'm not saying your favorite XYC will not get impacted. Sure, they will. But it's not going to be the same impact as we saw before. And and the data is supporting that. You know what I mean? Like we are seeing the data miss towards the right side of the equation, which is like it's not as bad as previously expected. But again, we still have to keep a close eye on it because if we don't, it could turn sour really quickly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'm of the opinion that inflation is not going to spike. And I'm not convinced that the Fed is not going to cut until September because they play a dangerous game. Because when the thing goes south, it goes south in a hurry, okay? And everything unfolds like in lightning speed. And when people start getting fired, then there's nothing the Fed can do. They can cut, they can go -5%. Nobody's stopping those companies firing those people. So you don't want to get there. You want a soft landing. And what happens if they cut 0.25%? They are 2% above neutral. If they cut 0.5%, 0.25 next month, what's the fucking difference?
Yeah. I think right now because that's another story. The Fed story. I think the Fed's doing the right thing by not cutting. If shit hits the fan, they have room to clean it.
Yeah, but you don't want the thing to shoot the fan. You're supposed to get the soft landing.
Yeah.
So Jay Powell can retire in April or May, and then it's the problem for the next guy.
Correct. Which Trump will elect or put there, you know what I mean? And then
you know what? I think and this upcoming CPI, if it comes below expectations, Trump will have every fucking right to be vocal about Jay Powell because it looks political. Maybe it's not, and I'm not saying Powell is political, but it can be seen that he's holding grudges against Trump. Yeah.
The problem is like every person keeps looking at Powell like, you know, it's like because he's the leader, he gets all the shit. But the reality is he's only one vote.
No, we both know that's not the case.
But it is. You know, it's like
know that, you know what? He gets the blame if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
So I think his vote counts for 10 votes.
Fair. Fair enough. Fair enough. Like I bet you he has a lot of sway. I'm sure
Yes,
of it. You know.
he's probably giving a look to the others and say, you know what? I said, let's cut. Say, okay, sir, we're gonna cut.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But it's just, I don't know. I think Powell has done a good job. You know what I mean? I
He's,
mean,
he's he's done a great job, and he doesn't want to fuck this up.
yeah.
Right
And
at
he's
the end.
like I just have to like I don't care if the American plane lands. I need to make sure my parachute gets there when I need to get there. That's all I need. You know?
Because do you know why? Do you know why I'm convinced we're gonna get a rate cut in June? Because if we don't get a rate cut in June, the next one it's when the next meeting is it September? Can you please look this up because I don't want to speak out of my.
Second.
The FOMC meetings is the one in June.
But the thing is they can cut whenever.
Yeah, but
July.
Okay, July. So yeah, if they do an emergency cut, the emergency cut it's never good. Okay,
It's never good.
it's never good.
No.
If you do an emergency cut, we going down on the S&P like you have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
So you don't want the emergency cut, and you don't want the stop and go. You want to start and then keep cutting. And we are 2% above neutral. 2%, not 1%, not 0.5%, 2%. So it's a gamble to hold until July. So what? The CPI has to go at 2% for them to start cutting?
I think they're like I think they want it. I think, in all honesty, because right now I think so they keep like I've listened to all of them speak,
Yeah.
and they're all saying the same thing. It's just like, look, as long as unemployment doesn't keep rising, we're happy where
Yeah.
it's at. The bigger risk right now it's inflation because it's unstable and we don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah, but let me throw you another new development. So the administration now went away from cutting spending and they switched their rhetoric to higher growth.
Yeah,
They said they want to outgrow the debt.
yeah,
Guess fucking what? You're not outgrowing you're not getting higher growth with 4% federal funds rate. You're
Yeah.
getting growth with cheap money.
yeah.
So a lot of things are pressuring the Fed to cut. Oil price is down, inflation is down. That's why I'm still holding my thesis for a June cut is still intact, even though everyone believes we're not getting a June cut.
What's the rates? What's the expectation at like the Feds? I haven't given it up,
Expectation is
man.
for two
Man,
cuts.
you take one holiday and the world changes. You know, it's like I went
Yeah.
on one. I grabbed sun one day.
Yeah, Memorial Day, and that was it.
Yeah. All right, let's have a look. There's no cut in June. No, like it's a 2% chance of a cut in June.
That's the expectation. We can get the CPI below expectations,
And then it changes, yeah.
And then it changes, yeah. That's
But then
not
even July, we're sitting at 22% chance of a cut.
basically no. It's basically a no. So what is the September like 90%?
No. 48% chance of a cut.
So less likely than. It's not likely, basically.
It's the most likely outcome.
So what? They're gonna take 2025 without a cut?
No. September cut. September, we're saying September cut. It's sitting at 48 and total like a big cut where there's even a 10% chance of a 50 points cut.
Is that making any sense?
No.
Start cutting have a percentage points like cuts.
Yeah. Like the thing is like I don't trust them as long like they're saying 2 cuts. Market's saying 2 cuts this year.
Do you know what I think about the Fed? I think that the Fed's power, it's more about sentiment than actual an actual effect on the economy, because the business owners that they spend the money hiring people and spending on capital expenditures, they hear the Fed is cutting, rates are going down. Okay, let's spend. The rates are going to keep coming down, keep coming down, keep coming down,
Yeah.
and it's
Ugh.
not happening.
Is a credible threat theory. I think the Fed likes to threat, and it's like by the time the Fed does a change,
Doesn't really matter anymore.
no, by they say they it's like they insinuate something's gonna happen and the market adjusts to that before the Fed
Yeah,
has to do anything.
yeah.
Almost, So it's almost like they do their job for them. Yo, Timothy's asking, what did he miss? NVIDIA did great.
He
NVIDIA did
missed
fantastic.
everything, tell him.
Yeah. You missed everything, Timothy.
He missed everything.
Yeah. But NVIDIA did great. I mean, they beat expectations on earnings per share after adjusted. Instead of 73 was 80 what? 84. I'll just show you.
Is Timothy holding NVIDIA?
I think so. I think we all have NVIDIA. I'm sure. But yeah, because when yeah. And then so yeah. Wait a second. What happened here? I am confused. Did I get? I'm confused. Yeah, 81. That's what I thought. Yeah. 81 expected was 75 and then 44 billion out of the 43. Still a beat.
43. Yeah.
Yeah, why did they do that? Having a change earnings per share to 96 cents and the estimate of 93 wrong. I'm confused. But yeah. Yo, we've been going for a little bit over an hour now.
All right. I will let you finish it then.
Yes, I think I'm gonna take it easy. I'm gonna take it easy today. I'm gonna take it easy these earnings. It's gonna be good. It's gotta be good.
It was a good report. And to finish this episode, I want to give my thoughts on the stock. I think if the stock takes a hit tomorrow, basically because people are going to take some profits, just classic standard right?
Yeah.
I mean,
You know what the
okay.
stock's at right now?
What?
142.4.
Which is how much up?
5.6%.
How much?
5.6%.
Okay, so the stock probably is going to take a hit at the opening. People are going to take some profits because that's what people do. And if it goes in the red, which you won't, but if it does, it's a buy. And the next 2 quarters, if nothing crazy happens,
We're
the
going to
stock
all-time
goes
highs.
up to 200.
Yeah.
Is it like unreasonable to say that the stock?
I'm sitting. Look, my high end before this was like my high end range is 160. Going back to all-time highs, and then because I think we were just growing into the valuation.
Yeah.
160, 180 by the end of the year is doable.
Oh yeah, it's very doable.
Yeah, but I don't think 300. I don't think we get 300.
No, you know what? I don't know what kind of coverage these people get on fucking TV, on CNBC of all places, and they say 300. I mean, 300 is.
I mean, like, could it get there? Sure, but a lot of things have to change.
I mean, it's a $4 trillion value. It's a $4 trillion company.
Yeah.
What? It's gonna be the first $10 trillion company, like the first 8 trillion. I mean,
hopefully.
I'm trying to be open-minded, but
yeah.
Let's not get ahead of us.
Yeah. The problem is like the problem with NVIDIA and is the rally that we saw, right? Like if you look at the 2023, 2024 chart, right? Like we just went straight up because all of a
Yeah.
sudden you get the momentum behind this stock. And I think we've lost a lot of that momentum, but we're
Yes.
picking it back up, you know? But I think like this stock from one day to the next could touch the 300. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it would take like a couple of months just to touch it whenever momentum is back. Like if we see something crazy happen in AI, or we start seeing the automotive the the Tesla taxis be a success, all of these different things, many different ChatGPT catalysts could cause the stock to balloon like
Yeah.
crazy. That's why you gotta hold it in your portfolio. But again, don't be afraid. Like I'm not afraid to take profits with a stock like this.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah, because of its volatility, you don't want to be too large of a holding in your portfolio. What's your number? What's after what percentage in your portfolio? Then you start looking. You know what? Okay, let me take some profits because it gets crazy. Do you have a number
Like
for a single
20%,
position?
20, 25%. Like I would go 25% if it's nice. You know what I mean? Like if like
If
every
it's not a
single
Tesla,
piece of win.
if it's not a Tesla, if it's like a decent company, you leave it go 25%.
The thing was like Nvidia was like 3% of my portfolio and it became like
Mhm.
50.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's like and like do I like yeah like putting a lot in a company like this, but it's like it's just grown into this valuation for me.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's like it's gotten to the point that it's like I've just got to trust that they know what they're doing, and I just don't see any better story that has the growth and the momentum and just the story that Nvidia has. I just
yeah,
there's no other company right now in my book that is better placed to take advantage of whatever the fuck's coming.
yeah. I agree with you.
You know, so we like let it go to 25%. Like I've been trimming. You know, I even trimmed just before the earnings because you're gonna see this being
Mhm.
volatile. But again, breaking the 140 right now is extremely volatile.
Yeah,
Like and the thing is just like sentiment is completely different to all of the other earnings that we were um that we were having in the last, because every single time we went into the earnings it was kind of like we were expecting too much, but this time around we were expecting the damage to be way too much and it
yes,
wasn't.
yes. That's a good point. It was going with a lot of strength into earnings previously, with the expectations sky high, but the last couple of months, the lower the expectations significantly on Nvidia. So
Every single
because
time it was like earnings come down for the next couple of days. Last earnings came down for the next couple of days, right? And it's like this time around, I don't think it's gonna be coming down. Like
and
the
if it,
moves, yeah, like
and if it does, we buy the dip.
yeah, yeah. Like for sure, like Nvidia 90C was a gift. I told you. Like remember, like I think you guys, like you and Mimi were talking, and it was like Nvidia was sitting at 105, and I was like, give it a second. Give it a second. And at 1996, like 96, I was like, buy.
You know what? I missed the 95, and then it went up to 115, and then it went down to 100, and then I bought 102, 103 the
Yeah.
last time I bought. But and you know what? You know what's most amazing? That the majority of the Nvidia investors are retail. They are not institutional.
Yeah. This is the gamer stock. You know what I mean? Like I know
Yes.
Nvidia because I'm a gamer. You know, it's like, did gaming pay? Yeah, mom, it did. It freaking did. You know, it's like, it's crazy. You know, so it's like it's insane. It'll be interesting to see how this fills out, but it's like, yeah, you can see like a week after, it's like -5%, -4%, plus
Yeah.
2%. It's like you can see the moves, and it's like like the last couple of earnings is just like punish. Like at the close, I remember, like yeah, last earnings at the close, stocks was down almost 8%.
Mm.
Nuts, nuts. You know what I mean? And it was like having amazing. Yeah. I remember. I was like, "Yep, don't buy, buy." And it's like I even posted it. I even have the freaking the text on my eToro feed for sure. You know, that's the nice thing about doing the episodes and then doing
Mhm.
the eToro feed because you have it's like, look, I wrote it. You know, this is
Yeah,
my
you put it on
journey.
you put it on the record.
Yeah, you have if you got the balls to put it on the record and you get it right, it only takes a couple of times, you know. But
Oh yeah, that was
it feels nice.
it was great to join the NVIDIA live stream.
I just think, you know, it's like every single time it's just come down. So it's like this is a
Yeah.
great time for NVIDIA investors. For those who held, take my hat off to you. For those who bought, take my hat off to you. And for those who wish to buy, I will sell you my stocks at $10 trillion. Well, everybody, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you all. I'm probably going to watch the call on my own later today, but I need to take a break because I'm leaving tomorrow for London to the Diamond event. Bam. Gonna be fun. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching, and